Good afternoon. Now, I have a privilege, but also the challenge to speak to you right after lunch. I know it is a challenge for me, and it's also for you. So I hope my non-American accent will keep you awake for a while, but also the topic we're going to be talking about. So I work for AFYREN. AFYREN is a green tech company, and I'd like to share with you our journey to our first biorefinery that we've built. Especially how partnerships have been important to our success so far, and how we believe they will be important in the coming years, and especially as we move forward with our next plans in the US, for instance. Is it this one? Yes. That just a little bit slow. Okay. We're a listed company, so these are our disclaimers. I'm sure you read them all, so that's good. Where do I need to click? Yes, here we are. We heard it before, but the chemical industry is facing some challenges. Just to name a few, of course, the scarcity of fossil fuel, gas, oil, this is definitely one. The impact on climate change, and we already see some mitigation around the world at different speed, I would say. But very different, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this, is the change of the requirements, the expectation from the end user level. This is very important. This is relatively new, I would say, but in the industry we're serving, this is absolutely critical. Now, we believe, and the 99% is maybe not exact number, but might be 98, by the way. But today, if you look at what are the products being made of, well, they are basically all made from fossil fuel, if you look at chemical industry. So yes, it is a big challenge, but we believe at AFYREN that this creates huge opportunity for products like us and for our ability to put such a biorefinery. A quicker one. Yes, works much better. So as I say, the end user on the consumer side, the end user side, what do we see? We see a clear demand for more naturality, more bio-based product. The middle class, as we call it, is having a huge impact on the change of demand. We see it in every region of the world. Probably Asia is probably the one driving it, a middle class change of habit. But also this shift towards more healthy products. And this is valid in different industry. Less, of course, if you talk about industrial, although we'll see that it's coming, but especially if you look about cosmetics, fragrance flavors, etc. Regulation is playing a very important role here. Of course, you have different type of regulation in different countries. Europe, as you know, is always leading the way. As a startup, initially, you have to deal with regulations. Some are helping you. Some are really blocking you sometimes. And the one thing that we know is that you have to keep up with them. There is a new set of regulations coming into Europe very soon on especially carbon footprint, etc. And that is something we need to be adaptive to, and the chemical industry at large. So we see our strategy to be offering what we call a three-pillar type of strategy. The first one is offering bio-based and natural product. And I'll be happy to speak about the difference between the two, by the way. They need to bring, and that's a very important thing. Our customers are asking us, what is your improved carbon footprint with your product? It's not good enough to be bio-based and natural. Is that what is the impact on my product, what I'm going to be making as customer of you in my complete life cycle analysis? So we need to be able to prove it. We need to be able to show that this is really, I'll say, a better performance. Last but not least, performance. So obviously the product have to be identical. So our products are drop-ins. They need to have the same properties. And the other aspect, which is also very critical, is price. Now, we believe that we have to meet the expectation from our customers. This was from day one. Our two founders believe that it's not because you're in green tech that you're going to be able to squeeze price, at the customer level. We get premium, and we're very transparent about the premium we get versus the same product made from oil. But we need to be able to justify this premium. Okay. Very important to note, we have our first biorefinery already running. 75% is already contracted long-term in our key markets. And you may say, why not 100%? Well, because the 25% we want to keep for ourselves. Okay, we need to prepare for the next set of product. We need to prepare for the other regions. So basically, our customers are begging us to supply more, and that's what I'm going to tell you. Now, in a nutshell, so the company exists already for 12 years, mostly R&D. A lot of struggle initially. We've passed the scale-up phase. We're now in the what we call application or deployment phase. We have patents, family, of course. We have a lot of trade secret as well, by the way. We're making 7 products at the same time. And we're also making a very important product, a fertilizer, a biofertilizer in large volume out of the plant. Believe it or not, but 5 years ago, the company was with less than 10 people. We have 130 today. We have raised 150 million euros with 70 million from the IPO. IPO was in 2021, so right after COVID. Very interesting moment, by the way. And the first plant, I will give you more details, 16,000 tons out of France. Now, this is a journey that we went through, so I'm going to spare you with the first moments of struggle as a startup, but especially some very important moments that we had, and we learned a lot from this journey, actually. The moment where we also had to get into VC funding, this was interesting. Of course, you have small money from the inventors, from friends, and then you need to get into that world of VCs. The VCs have been very critical in helping us in that phase, to be honest, until we reached the point of IPO. By the way, some of the VCs did not exit at that time, but actually reinvested into the company. So very, very important. The first plant, 60 million. It's a partnership with a French, let's say French innovation arm. And the other important milestone was obviously the IPO. 70 million. This was basically not to fund the first plant. This was done separately, the 60 million, but especially to fund the growth and the expansion around the world. Maybe 2 other things here. The awards. A lot of these awards mean nothing to you because they are either French or European, so I'll spare you with this. But the very important ones are the 2, one on the top right. Why? Because the jury of these committees, the judging committees, are exclusively composed of people from the chemical industry, so working today in large chemical companies, but also from the academics part. So it is not biotech people awarding biotech companies. This is chemical, people from chemical background activity awarding these awards to biotech companies. So that's very important to us. Okay. There is one slide to remember about AFYREN, is this one. At least I think you should understand it all. So on the left side, the feedstock. So, and you will see this is pretty unique what we do. The technology is adapting to a lot of different feedstock. The first plant is on a co-product from the sugar beet industry, but it can work on different feedstock. We're very, very stringent about some of the criteria we're using, and they're not technical. So we don't want any feedstock competing with the food chain. That's very important. So if there is any doubt, we will not step in. And this is tough sometimes because you need to move location, you need to think about other things if you don't want to get into this. No deforestation, etc. I'll let you read through this. But the technology itself, this is a non-GMO technology. We're mimicking nature. It's completely circular. There is no industrial waste. The water is being reused, with the next a round of fermentation. And out of this, we making 7 acids. So there's always one batch of 7 acids, ranging from C2 to C5, including 2 isomers. And we're also making a biofertilizer. And that's why, it's circular almost twice with the water, but also the fertilizer is recurring to soil. On the product side, so as I said, they are 100% bio-based, natural, and they offer, out of a plant in France, they offer a reduction of 80% on carbon footprint to our customers. That's critical, and is also very critical for us to maintain that level of expectation as we move to the next plant. I will explain later on how sometimes this could be a challenge. What are the markets we're serving? So you see on the left side, well, I explained before, but the pull for naturality, for more bio-based product, this is mostly coming from, say, the FNF, which you see here, so the fragrance and flavors, human food and animal feed. This is also very important. It was quite of a shock for us initially to hear from companies, by the way, also American companies, having a strategy to replace their existing product with more natural product for feed. I mentioned cosmetics. Well, it's probably the industry leading the way for naturality. And a little bit less, of course, on the industrial applications. That's okay. I think we do not pretend to serve everyone, especially in terms of volume. But interesting enough, applications like lubricants for high-end applications, like aviation, for instance. There's also a pull for more bio-based naturality here. I'm going to be quick now. So just some examples about how we brand this product. So this is an example from the say the acetic acid, the propionic acid, and the varic acid, and how they helping to address some of the issues that we see in the market, and also how sometimes they are further used in the industry, further down in the value chain, like esters, for instance. Okay, we'll be quick on this one. That's a new plant, so that's our biorefinery, the first one. I mentioned it, 16,000 tons, 23,000 tons of biofertilizer, 60 million investment, 60 jobs created there directly, and about 180 indirect. Carbon footprint divided by 5, and a 0 industrial waste footprint. Now, just one note on this one. We've been part of a European project, 20 million fund that we received from EU. And why? Well, the EU is helping industry, especially the biotech industry, to succeed. What is really the objective of this project is really to solidify the ecosystem. So everyone is brought in together, everyone helping the company in the middle, AFYREN, because we're basically the biorefinery. So you see all the different players in that project. Some are American players, by the way, and you can see some of the logos here. So it's on feedstock, is especially on the market side, but also on life cycle analysis, et cetera, et cetera. So very important partnership. Would not have been successful without that project, to be honest. I'm going to be very quick on this one. Innovation, 3 pillars. The first one I talked about, this is a replication of our model. So beyond the first biorefinery, the next ones. Improve is about what can we do to improve our technology, our cost position, but also our feedstock. For instance, looking at complete different feedstock that had nothing to do, for instance, with sugar industry. We're very active on this one, but also tweaking our technology to make different kind of product, like, for instance, longer carbon chain. So now we're limited at C5, C6, but we believe there is also room for C7, 8, and 9. Okay? And on diversification, this is what we're looking at as well, is to say, is that any value chain that we could also penetrate to make product of our product? And we have already identified some, solely based on the connections we have in the market, mostly at the end user level, because we cannot be in everything, but we need to go where the pool is. And we have a few examples of that. Now, I skipped this one clearly. So US is our next target for plant. But this one is important. This is what we need in the US. We're coming to the US. We've been already there for, I'll say, a couple of months, just engaging with different partners or potential partners. So we need partnership to be successful, as I said before. We need partners on the feedstock side. We need partners around the plant. So for the land, we're visiting quite some sites here in Nebraska for this week. Energy is very important. We heard it this morning. We've been engaging with the energy companies very upfront to make sure we're not going to get into problem later on in terms of capacity, renewable mix, etc. Also logistics. We need to bring this stuff in large quantities by rail. We need to also deliver it by truck to our customers. So the location is going to be important, etc., etc. And finally, on the market side, we rely on the input from our existing US customers, but this is not enough. So we need also to be engaging with the what we call the value chain captains to make sure that we understand the needs and where we need to be heading to. Tom, thank you.